Hey everyone, we're back after a short hiatus. Welcome to The Ox and the Rat. I am your host, The Ox.
And I'm the Rat.
How are things going over there?
Things are going well. I'm on a holiday, and it's officially the year of the Ox.
That's right, it's my year. It's could be going better. 2021 hasn't been fantastic for anyone, let alone my own issues and situation. But yeah, the year of the ox. You gotta plow through it like a bull, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know what's the, is it like a horoscope where you have certain characteristics?
I don't know. It's a good question.
I'll do a little search.
Yeah, you do the search this time.
All right, so I got it here. People born in the year of the ox are reliable and value their friends. Every creature in the zodiac represents a personality. Yeah. People born in the year of the ox are reliable, strong, fair, patient, kind, methodical, calm, and trustworthy.
Ooh, it's not describing me too well. I got maybe half of those at best. Calm.
Seems like they just threw out a bunch. Yeah.
And
reliable.
Yeah, I am very reliable now. That's for sure.
Strong.
Well, that goes without saying.
Fair.
In a lot of things, not in everything. So I'll give it half and half.
Patient.
No, not even close.
Kind.
Yeah, I think I have a kind heart, mostly. Yeah.
How about methodical?
Yeah. Yeah, extremely methodical, that's for sure.
Calm goes with patient.
Yeah, I'm not calm, generally.
And trustworthy.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, yeah, for sure, I'm very trustworthy. If I say I'm going to do something, it's gonna happen. So that's like 50%.
Yeah.
Maybe 60%.
So it says for the superstitious ox in 2021, this may involve career, money, and health. I guess that means like good things will happen.
Yeah, it doesn't really indicate, right? It could be total shit career, health, etc. Yeah. No, I think, well, that sounds fantastic. I would love that. I am exhausted. I am, trying to figure out my career still. Whew. Yeah, so I'd go for some of that on the positive end. What about yours, the rat? Like, because the next rat year is what, like 4 years away or something?
No, it's like, I don't know, 11 years away.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So what about health? You had your health screening, right? For cancer?
Yeah, cancer-free. Well, I mean, they only did the blood test, right? Well, you don't learn much from that. I remember when I did the blood test, when I know now that we know now that I had cancer, and they're like, "Oh, it's perfect." so it doesn't really mean a whole lot. I mean, I know what to look for and everything, and it, liver stuff is fine. So yeah, I feel all right. Why not?
That's good. The rat says represents the earthly balance Z and the midnight hours, 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. Let's see, rat's yang. If you're born in January or February, in one of the above years, you might be a rat, possibly a pig. It's not really telling me anything. I am kind of a pig. Let's go for meaning. Yeah, so it's about 11 years. Every 12 years is the cycle.
And what are you? You didn't really describe it. What are you supposed to be?
Oh, I'm stalling, so I can find it.
Good.
Symbol of fertility and abundance. People born during this year or previous years are believed to be intelligent, creative, resourceful, and have ability to form strong social bonds.
Yeah. So, how does that sound to you?
Intelligent.
Clearly.
Well, that's obvious.
Yeah.
Creative.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say resourceful. I would say so.
Yeah, for sure.
and ability to form strong social bonds. I'm not a social butterfly by any means, but the people that I do meet, I usually have a bond with.
Is that 4 for 4?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
It is. I wouldn't say I'm necessarily intelligent, but yeah.
Well, does it matter if I'm like kind of near the start of the year, so I'm not fully ox or something? I mean, what comes before the ox?
Rat. So I don't know if because it might be lunar calendar, so who knows? You might fall into rat as well.
Right. Well, I'm not doing well on these categories. I am a hybrid of some. I'm a, what do you call it? Like a chimera or some mutant multi-animal experiment. I'm a mutant.
That's you.
That's me. That's me. I'm a mutant. Huh. Great. Well, let's jump into our fable, shall we?
We shall.
We shall. Right. Well, today we're listening to the tale of the travelers and the purse. Two men were traveling in company along the road when one of them picked up a well-filled purse. "How lucky I am," he said. "I have found a purse. Judging by its weight, it must be full of gold." I can think of a few other things that might be full of. Just picking up a purse on the road. Oh, all right, poor guy. "Do not say, 'I have found a purse,'" said his companion. "Say rather, 'We have found a purse, and how lucky we are.' Travelers ought to share alike the fortunes or misfortunes of the road." Ooh, I like this. "No, no," replied the other angrily. "I found it, and I am going to keep it." Just then they heard a shout of, "Stop, thief!" and looking around, saw a mob of people armed with clubs coming down the road. The man who had found the purse fell into a panic. "We are lost if they find the purse on us," he cried. "No, no," replied the other. "You would not say 'we' before. And now stick to your 'I.' Say, 'I am lost.'" So, you want to guess the moral of this fable?
Okay. Let's see. So first of all, he finds a purse. He's happy. He was like selfishly claiming it as his, I guess. Finders keepers. And then maybe reap what you sow or something like that.
Yeah, could be.
Is that the moral?
Is that what you're going with?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Well, we cannot expect anyone to share our misfortunes unless we are willing to share our good fortune also.
That makes more sense.
Deep. I like it. That's a fun one. And for once, no animals. Usually, I think we've mentioned this before, or if we haven't, a fable usually, one of the characteristics of a fable is that it involves some kind of personification of animals or trees or, inanimate objects, like the hare or the ox or the rat, right? In this one, we don't have that. That's an interesting one and a fun one. Yeah.
I feel like Aesop could have thrown a rattlesnake in that purse.
Yeah. That'd be fun, right? And you open it and you're like, sucker. And it's like, and then you'd be like, "Oh no, we need help." And he's like, no. Before you said you would not say "we," and now say I am poisoned.
I'm not going to help you unless you say I.
Yeah, say it. All right. Yeah, and it's fun. This Library of Congress Aesop's Fable thing. Most of them, they have a little animation. You click on the orange purse. And then all of the people running down the road after him. Yeah, anyways. Well, cannot expect anyone to share our misfortunes unless we are willing to share our good fortunes also. Well, yeah, I think that's a tricky one to apply personally. I don't. Yeah. So
Have you
obvious.
had any
Yeah.
good
What?
fortune?
Have I had any good fortune? I mean, I'm pretty lucky to even have a job at this point, especially starting a completely new career in this pandemic era. That was good fortune because that was somebody taking a risk on me. I had no experience in whatever. So that was good fortune. I still find myself here in this role. Um, and, not totally certain about that. But that was good fortune, I guess. What else would be good fortune? I don't know.
I have one it's kind of a smaller one, but remember when we were back in the Philippines
Yeah.
and you had lost your phone, and then we had to get on a bus.
Oh, yeah. That was crazy.
The next morning or something like that.
Yeah.
Tell us what happened.
Yeah, that was wild. I mean, wild night. But so I woke up, it was like, shit, I don't have my phone. And who knows where I lost it on the way back to the hotel. That was a wild night. And then, yeah, it was a good phone too. And then I put on the alert thing or something, right? I put on the alert message. It was Samsung phone. It's like, please return this. My name is whatever. And it actually worked. Somebody had found the phone, and called your number or something. Can't even remember. Must have been yours. And
I think we had. I think we were going to Cebu or like to go see some whales or something like that. And I think they got in contact with the hotel or hostel or whatever we were staying at.
That was the other side of the equation. So we were leaving, and like this person found. Oh no, it was a couple days apart because we went to a different hotel in a different part of the island. Anyways, so we had like a set amount of time to get that phone back, and it was lucky to even get somebody to have found it and was willing to go to send it back out. I think this person worked for a cell phone company. Like so many people work for cell phone companies there. Anyways, that's an aside. So maybe they had an appreciation for cell phones. Anyways, but the person called back, agreed to send it by mail courier or something. I think at their own expense too. It must have been an expense involved, and it arrived somehow. Didn't it? Some kind of crazy shit. Like it arrived at the boat launch.
I think we were getting on a bus, and I'm pretty sure the bus had to pull over, and they handed the bus driver the phone, or the bus driver had the phone, or something like that.
Yeah, something wild like that. Like who knows how, but I got that phone back. It was like $1,000 phone, right? Wild. I got that phone back, and that was a great one. Yeah, thanks for reminding me of that.
That was good fortune.
Yeah. Definitely some good fortune. I definitely had some misfortunes on that trip as well. But sharing it's kind of different, right? So am I willing to share? That's not me sharing my good fortune. It's like saying, I'm willing to, here's something I have and I will give it to you. But now we're we find the bag of gold, but oh shit, now there's trouble and I need your help, right? So it's a tit for tat kind of a thing. So not quite the same. Like you say, I definitely have had some good fortune.
Yeah, it was kind of like the guy found the purse, which was your phone, and then sent it away. So we don't know who that guy or girl was, so hopefully they had some good fortune from that. Yeah.
Politics recently is a good example in the wider world, right? I think is always the case of Trump, right? So this guy wants to drag everybody down with him, and that's what he does. And he's notoriously stingy, right? So Cohen is a good example, right? His lawyer. So this guy covered up for him for years, and then he gets in trouble, and Donald Trump's like, "Oh, screw you," right? I think that's a common example that occurs in the world for sure. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like rich people who use others, and then it's like, oh, I need a favor, right? And it's like, well, you haven't done anything for us lately.
Yeah, it comes with a cost. If you help somebody or you rise with somebody, you're gonna fall potentially with them too.
Well, that's a good example. Yeah, I mean, it's like examples of dictators like Hitler and stuff. Same thing. They all of his cronies, they definitely shared in misfortune. So I guess that's true. Not like they were willing to per se. Not all of them. Yeah, I guess. What's another? I was trying to think of like, now I'm outside of my wheelhouse here, but like economics, right? You know, everybody, like the stock market is such a stupid thing. Like it's not really related to the actual economy. So, you know, people will benefit, or companies will benefit from it. And then, oh, here's a great one. Sorry. And I've got some from economics that I actually know about. The 2009 crash, or 2008 housing crash, right, in the US. These are people, and if you watch The Big Short, you understand this, who bundled junk together with other assets, right? And so when one thing went down, like everything went down with it. People who had no relationship to it, right? So they had all this good fortune, right? And a lot of people made a ton of money, and then they just jumped ship afterwards, right? So they're not sharing in the misfortune, right? The stock market's a joke, even though I'm involved in it to an extent. Like, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense sometimes. But yeah,
No.
That's outside of my wheelhouse.
I guess that's what people are complaining about, that people in the stock market always get the good fortune, and the little guy has no idea about, obviously, what's going on, the ins and outs of it that these other people do. So they don't really share in losing all the money. They'll get their money out first, and everybody else can lose theirs.
Yeah. I mean, that's what happens when you're able to, wall yourself off from wider society. This is a tough one, actually. I thought it'd be really easy to address. We are willing to share our good fortune, so you have to get the gold, share it, and then something bad happens.
Essentially, you got to be selfish at one point.
No, really? No, right? You're supposed to be totally unselfish.
No, according to this, if we were going to relate to exactly what happened, I guess.
Yeah.
You would have had to have a selfish act, and then it kind of came and bit you in the ass.
Well, I guess, yeah. I mean, they're saying you shouldn't be like that.
No, but we could possibly. Possibly.
The negative. Yeah, how the opposite has happened. That makes it easier, because I guess that's a really terrible comment on human nature, that we can't come up with any good examples of people getting fortune, sharing it, and also sharing in misfortune. Right, but
it's hard because, how often do we get fortune? I mean, and what do you quantify as fortune? It's easy to think of it as money. The only thing that I can kind of think of is, like you and I living here, we've had ups and downs personally, things like that. So just kind of, I guess sticking by someone if they're going through a rough time, and then you're also having good times with them. Not really any sort of exciting thing, but I don't know. Some people might dip out, I guess, if you're, if some bad things happen. I think that happens to people, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, we've given some examples. I've been pretty selfish in the past, though. I don't know if it's, definitely. I think selfish is a word that could have described me before. So I got this awesome job it wasn't an awesome job, but like I was a department head as a teacher, right? I got that job, came with a significant pay increase, relatively significant. and I had a very small staff to look after. I don't know that I looked after them well. I was busy, right? But I didn't need to be that busy. I was more concerned with stuff that I was doing. And it really bothered me when people wouldn't, I would perceive that they wouldn't pull their weight or something. And sometimes that was true. And other times, what we know about human resources and development, like what would have a more caring hand, or a few moments here or there, a few extra moments, not like I didn't try, but what would that have done to, help out with their challenges? And those challenges, I mean, it's a vicious circle, right? If somebody's feeling disaffected in their job, then they're not going to want to do the job well, and then you're not going to have any empathy for them, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. So I had that good fortune, and I didn't exactly bring everybody up with me. And then when difficulties occurred, I was like, well, I need your help here. And of course they're not willing. It's difficult to want to help out there. I think that happens a lot in middle management and in hierarchical organizations. Yeah, there's an example for you.
Yeah, that's a good one. So it seems that you needed to use those characteristics of the ox: patience and calm.
Yeah, I'm calm generally now. I've had to be, doing all meditation and shit. I'm not patient. I don't think they're the same thing. Most of my day is very I'm very at a low level in terms of emotion and stuff, but I need things to happen, and I just need them to happen. I'm just so busy. I don't even have hobbies anymore, which is something I did have even 3 weeks ago. But yeah, I think another good example I'll take out, and I keep railing against higher education, and I'll do it again because I can, is how we have these instructors or professors. I mean, yeah, some of them don't make the same money if you're an associate or whatever. It's worse in the US, is my understanding, but they make pretty damn good money. And then you're in a class teaching pedagogy, and it's it's oh, you shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do this. And I was like, you're doing that right now. It's yeah, well, tough luck. I mean, that really does happen quite a bit, talking sideways, or not practicing what professors not practicing what they preach. They've got all this good fortune in this climate. Everybody's doubling down on their education, and so it's not. I don't think that higher education has been significantly harmed by this. In fact, it may have, and I might be wrong, might have increased enrollment because they've gone virtual more so. Most of the students in my classes are not from North America, and that's fine. But yeah, when I have a teacher, and this is very common, where they make a mistake, all I can hope for is that they're willing to, prior to that, own up to mistakes that they've made, and make extensions where possible, etc. Or to modify expectations because it's not clear, or you didn't say that, or, you said the opposite before. And they don't do that. They don't share in the misfortunes of their students, while they seem to benefit from a system that's antiquated, right? And which benefits them as researchers, but not as educators. So that's a little bit more of an involved explanation, but something that's near and dear to my heart in current situation.
I know that international enrollment has gone down, at least in British Columbia.
Has it? I wonder what those numbers are, whether those numbers are, in person or whatever. I don't know what's going on. But, I don't see many professors losing their jobs at the end of the day. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still struggling to try to find one. Good fortune. Have I had good fortune? I've always found jobs, I guess. That's good fortune. I have, well, you might consider it another colleague, but I think I got you in tandem. We got a job for you, maybe.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you did. Me and somebody else. That was good.
Mm-hmm.
Based on a very short conversation and one of the shortest interviews I've ever had. Yeah.
Yeah. Shortest interview I ever had was going to Korea. I think I was pre-drinking, about to go to a party. And the person phoned and they're like, "Oh, can we have the interview now?" And I got, "Sorry, I'm about to go to work." And they're like, "All right, we'll phone back later." And I sent them an email a few times. I'm like, "So you want to do this?" And they're like, "No, it's fine. That's enough."
Yeah, I remember my first interview for traveling halfway across the world was like, one day it was like, "Oh, I'll get back to you tomorrow." There's nothing, just like, here's what it's like to live there. I didn't learn anything about the job, nothing at all. And then next day it was, "We have 3 schools. Which one do you want to go to?" It's like, which is the smallest one? Man, life is so weird, isn't it? We wouldn't, yeah. It's just so weird to look back on that time. That was good fortune, because at that point I had nothing. I was like, I'm okay, I'm not going to stay here. Got about a month to figure out what I'm doing next. And that was good fortune. Did I share that fortune with anyone? Not really, and then when things were difficult, it's hard to have empathy for me when I'm complaining about this, that, or the other thing. So, yeah, it rings true to me.
Yeah. It's hard to really have you ever found anything that was like expensive that you kept?
Oh, you know what? I've been thinking about this a lot. I've always thought about this. It's so weird. Once I was going to the bank, back when you had to physically deposit money. Ridiculous. And it was like a check or something. And on there was like an envelope that said 100, and there were 5 $20 bills in it. I took it. And it was just so perfectly placed, like, who does that? I was figured since that day I was part of an experiment,
Yeah.
And so what I did was I felt guilt when I left. So I took $40 or something, and put the $60 back in, and returned the envelope where I found it.
And then somebody else took the 60.
Probably, I shared that fortune with my friends. How that translates into sharing my misfortunes. Yeah, I've found stuff before, but that was a good example. I've always figured, like, I'm definitely on the security footage, but I'm also definitely, like, I feel like that was some kind of like a psychological experiment,
Yeah. I had once I was washing dishes, and it was payday, and I opened my check, and it was like $700 more than I expected. And I was like, huh, that's weird. They overpaid me. And I was contemplating just keeping it. I'm like, I work hard. This is like a bonus. And then my boss started going around, and he went to one dishwasher, and he's like looking at his check. And then he goes to another dishwasher, and he's looking at his check. I'm like, what's going on? They must be looking for this. Like, they don't know who they gave the money to. You think they would just go to payroll, I guess. But
yeah, okay.
I thought that he was searching for the check, but maybe he was just doing some stupid joke, like, "Oh, let me see how much you make." French Canadian guy. And eventually I went into his office. I'm like, I think there's some mistake here on the pay. And he's like, "Oh, why would you tell me that?" And he's like, "Thanks for letting me know. And here's a dinted tin of tea for you."
For
your honesty.
You know what?
Yep.
That happened at my first paycheck too. My first paycheck as a dishwasher. This is weird. I got overpaid by like $300 something, and I reported it. And this the guy said the same thing. He's like, because I was like, I think there's a problem with my pay, Gary, or whatever his name was. And he's like, what? So how much do I owe you? I was like, no, you paid me too much. And he's like, what? Why would you tell me? Okay, thank you. So I didn't get anything from it. But yeah, that's weird. Same thing, same job.
Now, was that fortune, misfortune? I don't know. I feel like definitely, you look pretty good in their eyes.
No,
and this
it was definitely a fortune that I received and gave back. I don't know if it's like a fortune and a misfortune at the same time.
Like, it's a misfortune for you because you gave it back.
Yeah. Wow. Well, this one's been a tricky one, eh?
Yeah, I was gonna say with mine, I guess maybe it's kind of similar because I used to work at this hotel. It's like a fancy hotel, and I was a dishwasher there while I was going to university, and I went back. I worked in Korea for 4 years, and then I went back to do some university again. And I was working at this terrible oyster bar in Victoria, and it was just so bad. Going from like a good job, kind of like a respected job, to a greasy dishwasher making minimum wage. All these terrible people working there. And then, so I left that one and I went back to that fancy hotel to try to get a job again, and they hired me right away. No problem. We did have a little bit of an issue previously because they accused me of drinking on the job when I didn't. But
wait, that's a weird one, eh? Like, if you get accused of drinking on the job, you're like, I wish I was. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
That they because it was like an event, like probably 1,000-person event at the conference room, and we were just putting wine glasses and beer glasses. You're just racking them all night long, so you're getting probably alcohol splashed all over you. And then I went to the front desk. It was like 3 a.m. because we worked overtime. I went to the front desk, and apparently we could get taxis home if we worked overtime. So I went with my buddy there, and I'm like, oh, we could get taxis. He just got hired. And the guy's like, nope, nice try. He's like, you didn't get off work. I'm like, what are you talking about? Go check the sign-out sheet. We just got off work. There was like a big event. He's like, no, you didn't. And he just kept saying that. So I started getting a little bit pissed off. I'm like, go check the sheet. We just got off work. And he's like, nope. And then, so I guess after that happened, he's like, oh, this guy had a bad attitude. Came in here drunk, or he was drinking on the job or something like that. Accused me of that. So I wrote a letter. Once I heard that, I wrote a letter to like the union boss and the CEO, or like the head manager of the hotel and all this stuff. Just slipped a letter under each door. And I'm like, this is, what do you call it? Of character.
Character assassination or whatever?
Yeah, something like that. I'm like, yeah. They eventually, my boss phoned me back and they're like, what are you doing? This is stupid. Why would you quit over this? But so, yeah, they hired me back there. I quit again. 4 years later, I tried to get a job again. And they did hire me back. And
3 times?
They tried to pay me extra money, and I gave it back to them.
Wow. Well, sir, you are a scholar and a gentleman. We're right up against it right now for time. So what do you say about this one? It's been a challenging topic to address. Misfortune.
Yeah, we had some stale moments there, but yeah, I think it applies, but it doesn't really ring true for everybody. But I guess what you need to do is just think about, when you are in a tough spot later, are people going to come to help you? Have you done enough for other people that they'd actually pay in return?
Yeah, I guess the challenge in understanding it is like whether we were addressing the outcome of this versus what you should be doing, which is get good fortune, sharing that fortune. I certainly haven't always done that. Trying to be better at that. So I think it's true that you cannot expect anyone to share our misfortunes unless we're willing to share a good fortune. You can't expect sympathy if you're not a sympathetic person, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. So I'm going to say yes, but, a really challenging topic to address for some reason.
Yeah. We don't pre-plan these. I kind of do it as
yeah, it's pretty
I kind
of
of do it as an exercise, though. It's a challenge to try to come up with something on the spot.
Yeah, I know, but it's the right way to do it, right? You can't, if you pre-plan it, then you're going to fit everything into that idea from the start, right? It's going to be it's going to be biased. It's going to be it's going to be altered in some way or another when you pre-plan. So we keep it agile up in here.
Yep, and we'll only get better, I assume. So stick with us in our misfortune times.
Yeah, share in our misfortune, and we'll hopefully give you back some fortune in whatever way we can. Right, so that's it from us, and keep it real, guys, and enjoy the year of the ox as it progresses.
Yes, gong shi fat zoi.
对，再见。
Bye bye.